You have heard that it was said, but I say to you. Dear brothers and sisters, let us pause for a moment to admire and contemplate Jesus, who, from the height of his authority as the Son of God, like the new Moses, explained the ancient law. In doing so, without abolishing the old law, Jesus gave it its true meaning, the true understanding that still applies to us today and forever. Before heaven and earth pass away, not the smallest letter, not the smallest stroke will disappear from the law until all is accomplished. He strongly affirms in today's gospel. While the fifth commandment of the Decalogue formally forbids murder, Jesus teaches that it is not only murder that is liable to judgment, but also anger, simple anger, which saves us so easily and so often. He adds other sins of our daily lives that we end up trivializing, such as insults. As for adultery, Jesus goes as far as to teach us that even a mere lustful look is already subject to judgment. Yes, to be judged for having looked at and desired a woman or a man, which seems so natural. This same understanding extends to the sins of divorce or repudiation and to the oaths we pronounce without fulfilling them. In addition to this rigorous explanation of the law, Jesus proposed that we take extreme measures to avoid sin, such as cutting off one's hand or tearing out an eye, both of which can lead us into sin. Listening to today's gospel, one is tempted to say, like the crowd who listened to Jesus at that time, this word is hard. Who can accept it? But then, is Jesus too demanding? Or are we, human beings of every age, too lax? Indeed, we must acknowledge that the firmness of God's commandment testifies, first of all, to the incomparable value of a human life as God willed and conceived it when he created man in his own image. Yes, the dignity of man is the dignity of God. What greatness and value God has bestowed upon us by creating us in his image. It is here that the inviolable character of a human life is rooted. A life that deserves to be respected and protected from every threat, from birth to death. We can therefore understand that the firmness of these commandments aims to defend and protect the life of every person and all people. The explanation that Jesus gives of the ancient law seeks to eliminate every threat of a human life at its roots. Thus, anger is liable to judgment because it is the first step that leads to murder. Indeed, we know that the one who becomes angry with his brother begins to accumulate reproaches against him and the distance is created between them. If anger is not stopped from the outset through frank dialogue with one's brother, it intensifies. The distance grows, and eventually the idea of killing one's brother arises and effectively leads to murder. The same is true for the one who looks at a woman or a man and desires her or him in his heart. It is not the look in itself that constitutes the sin, but what follows from what has been seen. The reflection that follows and provoke actions that ultimately result in adultery. The look is only the first step that can lead to adultery if one does not put an end to lustful desire. In short, Jesus invites us, his disciples, to stop evil as soon as it arises. In this way, we leave it no opportunity to develop and lead us into wrongdoing. Through this teaching, rigorous indeed, yet not impossible to live, we discover Jesus as a profound knower of the human heart, our human fragility, and even more of a cunning of evil, which can subtly insinuate itself into the heart, take roots, and then grow until it reaches its unspoken ends, which is nothing other than the ruin brought about by sin in all its forms. Even if we feel that this teaching of Jesus is too rigorous, it is not impossible to live. This is precisely what the text of today's second reading tells us. If you want, you can keep the commandment, but will save you. If you trust in God, you too shall live, and to act faithfully is a matter of your choice. Here is the key, dear brothers and sisters in Christ. If you will, if you trust in God. And there also is the question, do you trust in God? In any case, St. Paul has already warned us in the second reading of this Mass. Among the mature we do speak wisdom, though it is not a wisdom of this age or of the rulers of this age who are doomed to perish. We speak God's wisdom. Yes, the rigor of this teaching comes from the wisdom of God, which not everyone can understand, even some amongst believers, the disciples of Christ. But the grace of God, that is, his help, his light, and his strength can help us to understand and live what he commands us. For the ultimate goal is our own happiness, that God may dwell in us and that we may dwell with him. This is precisely what the whole church asks of him in this Mass. O God, who teach us that you abide in hearts that are just and true, grant that we may be so fashioned by your grace as to become a dwelling pleasing to you. I suggest that we take time this week to reflect again on the incomparable dignity and greatness that God has given us, and to thank him for having created us in his own image so that we may dwell in him. You have heard that it was said, but I say to you.